And now we've made it to Tuesday, guys. I am Ryan, and this is Michigan Storm Chasers. Welcome to the YouTube channel. Today's video is sponsored by Katz Roofing and Siding. Katz is based in the Lansing area, providing roofing, siding, window, and gutter needs for your residential homes. Get a hold of Katz at 517-485-9886. And as always, thank you to Katz for being today's spotlight sponsor here on Michigan Storm Chasers YouTube and Facebook channels. It's been a while, been a few days here, 4 or 5 days, I think, since our last YouTube upload. Let's go ahead and break this down. We have some severe weather to talk about, as well as some extreme heat upcoming for your Thursday as well. Let's go ahead and dive in first and foremost, starting with your SPC Outlook. Today, Tuesday, July 22nd, we have a marginal risk. That's level 1 out of a 5. So a low-end risk for severe weather up in the very far western part of the UP. In the light green color over here, that's just general thunderstorms. No severe weather is expected there. In the white color, it's just your base map. There's no risk in that general area for thunderstorms or severe weather. Hazards today for the western part of the UP. Here's your outlook for anything tornadic. As you can see, it is off to the west here in Wisconsin. Michigan does not have any probability higher than 2%. Now, going up to the wind, that is your primary concern today. It is a 5 to 14% chance of seeing a damaging wind gust up there in the Ironwood, Houghton, Marquette areas. I say Marquette. Marquette is actually outside the risk, but it's close to it. So I'm going to say Marquette there, as well as Iron Mountain. And then last but not least, it is a hail risk very, very far. Wow, it's morning talk, morning brain. Very, very far west toward Ironwood has just a sliver of the state there in a 5 to 14% chance of a large hailstone. So damaging wind up to 60 miles per hour is going to be your primary concern today. Cannot rule out a large hailstone, especially further west toward the Wisconsin border. Going to the model here, we're going to look at the future forecast radar here. Not very impressive. Let's go ahead and run this through. Current time here, 8 a.m., 9 a.m., 10 a.m. Got some showers up there perhaps for the morning. Get to about noon to 1 o'clock Eastern. Got a couple heavier showers up there, but overall the model keeps us fairly minimal in terms of what happens up there today. So don't be shocked if we don't get much of anything up there. I think there's a chance that we get a few storms because we have a lot of instability building. We have a little bit of a trigger as well with a shortwave moving in. But looking at models, they don't really convect much in the way of, storms. So today may be limited in coverage, but do keep in mind if a storm does go up, it could become strong or severe, especially up there in the western part of the UP. A more substantial risk is on tap for tomorrow. Let's go ahead and move into Wednesday. We have a slight risk in effect for pretty much the entirety of the UP minus the Keweenaw Peninsula up there in the Houghton area. Further south toward Gaylord, a marginal risk is there, and further south than that toward the, we're going to say Mount Pleasant, Roscommon area is a general thunderstorm risk in the light green color. Further south, no storms are expected tomorrow, so a pretty much dry day again further south. But if you're in the UP, this is one to keep an eye on. Hazards tomorrow, it is a 15 to a 29% chance of damaging wind in the yellow areas. In the brown area, it's a 5 to 14% chance for damaging wind within 25 miles of any point on the map here. Hail risk, there is nada tomorrow. There is no risk, less than 5% for anything large hail-wise, but we have a lot of wind shear out there tomorrow. We have a 2% risk for a tornado up there in the green-colored area, Ironwood, Marquette, Escanaba, Iron Mountain, and Menominee areas. Keep an eye on that. Let's go to the model for tomorrow. Let's go ahead and run this through tonight. Here's Tuesday afternoon, here's evening, here's overnight. I got to back this up here to the 1260. Here we go. Run this through into the hours of Wednesday. We have a lot of rain up there across the northern part of the UP. Then here comes our line late morning. This is at 10 a.m. tomorrow morning. We'll have to watch this. Could have multiple rounds of showers and storms push across the state. There's round 1. Behind that, more storms develop here. This is at 3 p.m. in the afternoon on Wednesday now, Eastern time. Those could be strong or severe. And then if round 3 really develops back behind that one and kind of moves through the exact same area, then round 4 behind that one. So it's going to be a busy day tomorrow. But I do think the main concern really lies within that afternoon round. So these storms here, backing this up here, let's go ahead and run this back. Here's 8 a.m. on the model here tomorrow morning. This first, excuse me, this first round, 9 a.m., 10 a.m., and 11 a.m. That may be strong in nature with perhaps some small hail, perhaps some gusty winds, but severe weather, I'd say, probably holds off until later on in the afternoon on Wednesday. Let's go ahead and run this through. Here's noon Eastern, 1, 2, and 3 p.m. Those storms up there could be strong or severe starting as early as that noon to 1 p.m. time frame. That could continue to be severe as it crosses the UP. There's 4 p.m., 5 p.m., 6 p.m. A secondary round develops behind that one. Here's 7 p.m., 8 p.m., 9 p.m., 10 p.m., then late night. Another round is possible after that. So here's 11 p.m., midnight, and then 1 a.m., 2 a.m., and 3 a.m. So with that said, tomorrow could be quite messy up there in the UP. So what that means is we could have a few strong to severe storms throughout the day, perhaps into the evening hours. But with it being so messy, it may also limit instability. If it rains, if it clouds over, that limits sunshine, it limits our storm fuel. It could limit the overall threat tomorrow. But models have no problem forming instability between these rounds. So something to keep an eye on. The slight risk is there for a reason. My eyes on Wednesday and also on Thursday as well. Thursday, the risk moves down state. We have a marginal risk for the entirety of the Lower Peninsula and portions of the central and eastern part of the UP as well. It's a low end risk, 1 out of 5. This would be damaging winds, primarily concerned, but also I'm not going to rule out a tornado and on Thursday as well, just because there's enough wind shear there. We're really keying in on Wednesday and Thursday here for potential dual hazard wind and or a brief tornado. Outside of Thursday, we have a couple areas to watch. The CSU Learning Model continues to highlight a 15% probability across much of Lower Michigan. CSU is usually a pretty good model here to kind of pinpoint higher probability corridors. So I'm really keyed in on Wednesday too, I'm really keyed in on Thursday as well as Wednesday. So with that said, 3 days back to back to back potential for severe weather. Wednesday and Thursday being the two main concerns. We'll go live tonight at 7 p.m. for a briefing on how tonight looks as well as tomorrow. So join us on YouTube, Facebook, X, and Twitch for that. Last topic here I think I want to cover, going back to the models, is going to be the extreme heat. Looking at the European model, we're going to run this over here to our heat index. Apparent temperature, we're going to run this into the Wednesday timeframe first. We're going to see the heat index across West Michigan in the 90s on Wednesday. But as we move into the Thursday time frame, the entirety of the Lower Peninsula here is really getting into the upper 90s, if not low hundreds, for heat indexes for your Thursday afternoon and evening time frame. So keep that in mind. Thursday is going to be hot and humid across much of Lower Michigan. If you want to escape that, though, check out the UP up there in the 70s and 80s. Very pleasant up here. Well, we kind of cook downstate here. So if you have the means and you have the willpower to do it, drive north in the UP. You can escape a lot of this heat incoming for the end of the week here. With that said, that's going to end the video here. I'll catch you guys tonight, 7 p.m. Eastern time on YouTube, Facebook, X, and Twitch for a briefing on the next couple of days of severe weather. Join us then. Until then, stay safe and enjoy the weather out there. We got you guys covered here at Michigan Storm Chasers.